Today's episode on Knit Your Stress Away is for anyone who's ever said, yeah, I started that project, but it still started. I have never finished it, and I don't know why. If that's you, first of all, same. Right? That totally happened to me. As a matter of fact, I have multiple projects that are still on my needles. And also, there's nothing wrong with that. That's not at all what I'm saying. However, in this episode, I want to walk you through 3 common mistakes that beginners are making that often lead to unfinished projects. So if you are suspecting that there's something going on that might keep you from finishing the project other than, the usual, like, okay, it's a big project, it just takes time, then this episode is for you. And I'm excited to walk you through those 3 common mistakes that may be the problem with your unfinished project. Welcome to Knit Your Stress Away, the podcast for overwhelmed moms who are done with doom scrolling and ready for something slower. Hi, I am Nadine. I am a mom, a knitting coach for beginners, and proud screen time dropout who believes that peace starts with just one stitch. If you've ever craved a quiet moment to yourself, this show is your cozy permission slip. Let's trade notifications for needles and turn stress into self-care together. All right, let's get into this. Number 1, you may have chosen the wrong project. So what do I mean by the wrong project? If as a beginner, it's super easy to get excited to hop on Pinterest or Instagram. You pick something that's really stunning and you would love to wear, right? But it may be way too complicated for a first or second project. And here's the thing. It's not that you're not smart enough or skilled enough or cut out to do this. It's just that you're building a new skill and it's like building a new muscle. You need to start small. You have to start small and making something that is in line with the beginner skill. Of course, I always welcome a challenge and I always encourage people to make projects that are slightly outside of their comfort zone so that they can challenge themselves to learn a new skill. But if you are way back in the beginning of just learning to knit, I want you to have a quick win. I want you to do something that feels fast, that finishes fast, so you can be like, whoa, I actually made that. Let's go. What else can I do? Right? I'm thinking something like a dishcloth, a very simple scarf that is maybe an infinity scarf. Those are really cute, or a basic headband. And if you are like, I don't even know what materials to get or where to begin when it comes to picking your first project, I have 2 things for you that might help. So the first thing is actually a free download that you can grab right now at thenittingmamas.com. It is the 3 things you need to start knitting cheat sheet. Super simple cheat sheet that includes the tool and material recommendations that I have for beginners. And it also includes beginner project suggestions that you can grab. Most of them are free. And beginner-friendly glossary for all the knitting lingo so that you never feel lost in the beginning. So that's super helpful if you want to start with the project, take the guesswork out for you. Just order the materials, click on the links to grab one of the patterns and start. And I promise you're going to finish that project because they're super, super doable. Or if you want a guided experience, I have a 90-minute headband workshop that walks you through everything from what to buy, step-by-step video support. It's a whole class recorded just for you where I'm walking you through the entire process of making the headband. It has the printable pattern included in it from 2 of Wands, and it even comes with a cozy knitting playlist that I added to it for your stitching hobby every single day. You can pop on the playlist and start stitching. It's amazing. You can literally grab that video class right now. It's $37. Go to thenittingmamas.com, grab your workshop there, get all your materials, and in a few days, you will be ready to roll. The point with all of this is set yourself up to win so that you have a quick win and you feel motivated to move on to something that might be a little bit more challenging. So you always want to choose ease over anything that you feel like, oh, but I think I can do this. So just ease yourself in there. It'll keep you going. And I think that's super important. You do not want to throw in the towel too soon because of a project that may have been a little bit outside of your skill set at the time. But let me promise you too, with practice, knitting will become second nature, and you will be at a point where you're like, I don't know how to not do this. There's no way that I ever did not know how to knit. All right, let's move on to mistake number 2 that I see beginners make that will keep them from finishing a project. You're trying to learn too many things at once. So you do not need to master every stitch or every technique or know every fiber type on this planet before you actually start. Learning to knit is sort of like learning a new language. You don't start with poetry, you start with hello, how are you? So it's just a little bit of a mindset shift here. And I know there's a lot of perfectionists out there who are like, nope, can't start something unless I know everything about it. But that's not how this works. You're not behind, and you do not have to get it all, and you don't even have to get it perfectly in the beginning or at all, ever. Like, really, you don't have to get it perfectly ever before you're allowed to actually cast on a project. The best way for this particular, this applies to a lot of things that you learn new. Language is one of them as well. Ask me how I know. This is not my first language, just in case you didn't realize. My first language is actually German. So yes, the best way to learn knitting or a lot of other things is just by doing, right? Just to dive in and let's go. So again, the headband workshop is a great starting point for you. You're going to learn how to cast on. You're going to learn how to do the knit stitch, the purl stitch, and then you're going to cast off. And then you're going to understand how to seam the piece together and how to weave in your ends. And that is all you need to know. And you can make endless patterns with those techniques. You can always expand from there, but you will not need to learn all the things and lace patterns and color work and all sorts of other things, or understand needle sizes and you just don't. Just go grab your cheat sheet, your checklist, and then jump into the workshop, because that's also going to prevent you from overwhelm of a YouTube rabbit hole, right? You are not even going to have a chance to go down the rabbit hole or on Instagram and watch a bunch of reels that don't even have anything to do with knitting. You're just going to be focused in the class. You're going to knit your headband step by step by step. And before you know it, you actually have created something and you have completed it. So there's that. Number 3. What is the third big reason beginners may not finish their project? It is that they don't set aside regular time to knit. It's as simple as that. Knitting is a skill, and just like we talked about, like any skill, it does get easier with practice. But more than that, and we talked about that in the last episode too, it is a form of nervous system regulation. It is amazing when it comes to stress relief and just kind of anxiety and overwhelm relief. It helps you reset after a long, overstimulating day. And even just 15 minutes a day can make a huge difference. If you missed last week's episode where we talked about nervous system regulation and how knitting compares very much to meditation there, go back and listen to that. It was really fun to learn about all that. But the more consistently you show up, the more natural, obviously, the skill in this knitting will become. And before you know it, knitting won't feel like anything that you just need to do, right? It'll be your favorite way to unwind. It'll be the thing that you can't wait to get to when you are on the way home, or, when you're done with your to-dos, your chores, whatever it might be. And don't forget, while you're doing your chores, take 15 minutes here or there in between, knit a few rows, take a break, grab a cup of tea or coffee, and just enjoy the stitches. But if you do need help making that time, got another free guide for you. And this one, I love this one. I do this one myself regularly. It's a 3-day reset that kind of puts you back into the driver's seat of knowing, okay, I need this break, but here's how I'm actually going to make it happen. It's called Make Time to Stitch. You can find it on theknittingmamas.com. Totally free. Just put your information in there and then I'll send it straight to your inbox. It's such a simple tool to help you find those small, peaceful pockets of time, but it removes all the guilt and all the pressure. So go grab that. I can't wait to get that in your hands. If you haven't tried it yet, I would love to know what you think about it. Because I've learned recently from a lot of you guys when I did a little poll on Instagram that knitting or learning to knit might not be necessarily the thing that you need the most help with, or a lot of you don't, because you already knit and you know how to do it. You learned it as a kid or, from your grandma or your mom. but you just don't find the time to do it. So this is going to close that gap for you, and you're going to fall in love all over again with the knitting craft. So let's recap really quickly. The 3 things that might keep you from finishing a project are, number 1, picking a pattern that might be too complex. Number 2, trying to learn everything all at once. And number 3, not carving out regular time to practice your stitching. So the good news, all of these are fixable. I can't wait to see your finished project. You do not have to do any of this alone. Remember, you can grab all your free downloads and the workshop at theknittingmamas.com, where you can also find the link to our Facebook community if you want to come in there and kind of hang out with us while you're finishing those projects. We can give you all the encouragement, and we are here to support you. If this episode helped you feel seen, if you're one of those people who are like, yep, got that project there and I am not finishing it, well, let's help you get it over the finish line. I would love to see you in the group. And I would also love it if you do enjoy this episode or any of the other episodes on this podcast, share it with a friend, tag me on Instagram at @theknittingmamas_ so I can cheer you on, I can shout you out, I can show off your finished projects. I would love to hear how you are enjoying the support that you're getting here. And I hope that I will see you on one of the future episodes here on the Knit Your Stress Away podcast. Until then, have a lovely week and happy stitching. Thanks so much for hanging out with me on today's episode. I hope you're walking away with a bit more inspiration and a few ideas to make your self-care a priority. If today's chat gave you a little boost, I'd love it if you could leave a 5-star review on iTunes. This helps other moms discover the podcast and start finding more calm and creativity in their day as well. And don't forget to join us over in the Knitting Mamas community on Facebook by going to theknittingmamas.com/group. Thanks again, and remember, you deserve time for yourself to recharge and feel your best.